What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Knock Stiff Golf. It's Sunday afternoon and I'm sitting here watching the Century Tournament of Champions at Kapalua, and I was thinking about taking a nap. But then I realized I've put up my goals on social media, which means that I'm going to be held accountable when that time comes. I thought, what better time to get into practice than now? So as you can see, I just kind of wrapped up a little chipping practice. I'm not going to bore you guys with every single shot that I hit. Obviously, it's something I need to work on. It's something last year that I knew there was a big hole in my game with chipping. I kind of turned to the Texas wedge for every single shot that was off the green if I was within 15 yards. And I just really lost a few strokes due to that. So I really wanted to come into the spring being a little bit more comfortable with chipping. I have to say, Phil Mickelson came onto social media as of recently, and it has been a real treat for everybody that's watched, especially on Instagram. He's been doing kind of chipping tutorials, and he says a lot of interesting things that I think most people have. I don't know if they've heard, but if they have heard, it sounds wrong. And I've seen some of the comments and people kind of agree with that. Phil Mickelson talks about 3 things that are necessary for good chipping. First thing is, you need to have all your weight on your front foot. He basically says that if you can't pick up your back leg, then you might not have your weight correctly distributed for a chip. The second thing you need to do is commit to a ball position in your stance. Whether that's in the front to hit a higher shot or in the back to hit a lower shot, whatever it is, he just strictly says that in the middle is gonna really hurt you because you haven't committed to what kind of shot you're gonna hit. And the third thing is basically what he describes as an inverse relationship between your wrist and forearm and the club. Basically, you need to keep this angle going forward, or for a righty, this way. You can't have it this way, and you can't have it flat. You need to have the wrist leading the club head to keep that leading edge down. And so all 3 of these things he discussed, I think, are very valuable to keep you essentially from sculling it. I encourage you to go check him out on social media, learn as much as you can about the short game. He's obviously very well versed in the short game. So if you have any doubt, Google Phil Mickelson short game and you will be a believer after that. Now we need to get to a little putting, because that is another aspect of the short game that I'm able to practice inside that's very useful. So let's get to it. As you can see, that was just a little bit of putting. Really what it comes down to is finding those little 10, 15, 20-minute time periods in a day where you can roll a few putts, work on a little bit of chipping, because right now I don't have an hour and a half that I can go to the range and just work on things for a bit. So these little 10-minute increments are gonna add up over the week, and then, you know, next thing I have is an hour and a half that I've practiced during the week without even really thinking about it, just sitting around when I'd be watching TV or something. So capitalize on those little times that you have, roll a few putts, chip, maybe work on some alignment, work on your posture, anything like that that you can just kind of do quickly. Find a way for that to stick in your head for when you practice next time. There's been a few guys that I've been following lately on Twitter that really do a lot with the mental side of the game and just in a way cutting through the BS that's out there for improving on golf. If you want to really step your game up and you don't really think there's a lot of shortcuts, I really suggest checking out, it's AdamYoungGolf.com. I started following him on Twitter just after I kind of found Mark Broadie on there and read his book, and he has this article, Training to Win in Golf, and so far I'm halfway through it. I'm still kind of like picking it apart and trying to absorb it, and the theme of it seems to be that not every day you're going to have your A swing, and so what are you doing in a tournament round to kind of pull yourself together when you don't have that A swing? Is you got to dance with who you brought with, something like that. It's a real look into what you're bringing to the golf course each day and how it can be different and how to get through that. And so then also with my putting that I was doing a little bit ago is I'm really trying to keep in mind with Mark Broadie's book, Every Shot Counts. One thing that really stood out to me was in putting that pros very rarely leave any putt short. It's such a small percentage compared to amateurs that leave an abnormally high amount of putts short. And so there's a huge difference when you look at amateurs versus pros, not only in their swings, but the putting is a different game that they're doing. They make crazy amount of putts. They hardly ever 3-putt. And when you look at an amateur, it's the complete opposite. So that's something I really wanted to work on this year, was just kind of minimizing my 3-putts. And hopefully I'll be doing that by rarely leaving putts short. And kind of the belief behind that is if you're getting the ball to the hole, you'll be able to see the line coming back if you were to miss it. And it also gives it a better chance of going in. There's a lot of variables into that. I encourage you to read that book if you haven't. It's a really good pickup. I hope you guys enjoyed this. This was just a little spur of the moment practice that I want to do and just show, like, this is how I spend 20 minutes of my day, just trying to work on a few things and get me ready for the next time I'm going to be playing. Thank you again for tuning in. You guys like, comment, subscribe as always. I hope you guys saw I broke over the 100 marker. I think it was New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, but that was a big goal of mine just in the last 2 months when I got this going. So I appreciate you guys just watching this stuff and all the kind comments that I receive. I hope you know that means a lot to me. So, and as always, I'll see you guys next time.